Good morning. Today I've got 3 test day tips. Tip number one. What's tip number one? Tip number one is, well, this is before your test day to prevent any sort of horrible experience on test day. You got to simulate your test day panic just in case you wake up and say, oh man, I don't think I studied this one thing enough. Or when you sit down and take the test and you feel that, or the question pops up and you feel like that. So you need to figure out how to get that, to evoke that response now before the test so that you can go, well, first of all, practice the content, learn the content, and second, so that you improve your mindset. Because somebody with a great mindset but less preparation and conditioning is going to beat the guy who has awesome preparation and conditioning but has a terrible mindset. So this applies not just to sparring or competitive sports, but to taking your test. If you have a better mindset, you get a better outcome, right? You'll learn easier. You'll have the confidence. You'll be able to maintain your focus, and all that study and test anxiety stuff I talked about in my other videos those tips will make more sense, and they'll work better. They'll be more effective, especially if you experience it and you can relate to them. Let's see. Yeah, I saw a little scattered my videos, low production value. I get it. I'm just trying to get these thoughts out, because if I wait until the production value is awesome and I write a script and I have my whiteboard, it's not going to happen. So number one, evoke that test panic so you can address it and get through it and desensitize yourself to it, which is actually a concept referred to in the CSCS exam, the desensitization for fear by a little bit of exposure. And it's not a new idea. That's all right. Number two, don't overstimulate. If you're gonna take any kind of coffee, energy drink, ADHD medication, weird herbs you bought at a gas station, recreational drugs, whatever you're gonna do to get yourself up, make sure you have the dosage and timing correct. I like to have a cup of coffee in the morning. And what happens if all of a sudden I wake up on test day and I decide to have 3 cups of coffee? So that might work. That might be okay. I might have the tolerance to that because I consume a lot of caffeine over a day. Sometimes, some days, sometimes I like an energy drink, right? But the problem is with any of these stimulants is the timing is different on all these things. And if you try something different and it hits you when you don't expect it, you get surprised by that, and then the magnitude of the stimulation could throw you off too. You could become too jittery, and then you won't be able to focus, or it kicks in the sympathetic nervous system, your fight response. So you might get the elevated physical state, the heart rate, the blood pressure. I mean, I don't know how much stuff you're going to possibly stimulate yourself with, so you start sweating and having palpitations, but if you're excited, it's hard to practice and it's hard to recall. So you want to be able to manage your energy. And what I'm recommending is that you practice all this energy management. So that we won't say overstimulate. We'll say tip number 2 is manage your energy. So figure out your sleep schedule and rehearse that. Figure out your stimulant schedule and rehearse that, which leads me to tip number 3. Don't do anything different on test day. If you've practiced the sleep schedule and you've practiced when you're going to eat breakfast and drink your coffee and take your pills and whatever you're going to do, don't change anything, right? And make sure your sleep and your diet the day before is good, because if you do something different the day before, it'll affect you the next day. I was in a powerlifting meet, and then the night before I thought, this won't bother me if I try a new Mexican recipe. So I made a mole, not from scratch. I'm not that ambitious. And it bothered my stomach during the meet. So that happens. Don't do that. So let's recall. Tip number 1, evoke that test day panic so you can address it and learn the content and then manage your mindset better. Number 2, manage your energy through sleep, practicing your sleep and your stimulation, your stimulants. And number 3, don't do anything different on test day. Do not deviate from the plan. Figure out what's effective and then do that.